Stanford, the Cardinal coming off their second highest scoring output of the season. An 8-0 win earlier today against Colorado State. Taryn Kern, the leadoff batter. And we're underway. A strike from Gutierrez. Kern, the All-American sophomore, who is the Big Ten Player of the Year a season ago with Indiana, set a Big Ten freshman record with 23 home runs.
Yeah, you'll notice, Alex, right away that she gets right on top of the plate. Her feet, both of them, standing on the chalk line at the left-hand batter's box, tries to take away that inside corner. It's what's led to several hit by pitches and a high on-base percentage for her. Low average to start out this year, especially compared to last year, but a very high on-base percentage.
She's already been hit 7 times this year, twice this weekend.
Well, and last year, she was hit 22 times, took 42 walks at Indiana as a freshman.
Shattered the Indiana record for home runs in a season, which was previously 17. Still looking to get going in the hits department. 1-2 on the way from Gutierrez. And hit for the 8th time this season.
And she even backed off the plate a little bit with 2 strikes. But she's going to go up, and the rest of the Stanford offense is going to go up against Citlali Gutierrez. And this season, she's lived more down in the zone. A lot of confidence in her drop ball. She'll throw that mid to upper 60s, and then also an off-speed curveball. So changing speeds, not only with her off-speed curveball, but also this off-speed drop ball that just looked fantastic against Tennessee's offense. A pitch that kept them off of balance and really throwing 3 different speeds with that off-speed curveball as well as the off-speed drop, and her harder drop going to live more down in the zone.
Really worked on her control in the offseason. It's paid off so far. No walks and just 1 earned run allowed all year. Count 0-1 to River Mailer, the sophomore out of Monroe, Washington. That one gets past Atwood, and Stanford with a runner in scoring position. I was going to ask you about the mentality right now of Gutierrez. We know this is the storyline, the Texas offense against Kennedy, but what do you think's going through her head, knowing, hey, I'm going up against one of the elite pitchers in the country as well?
You do definitely realize it. It's not a secret.
Mailer sends one to left. The freshman Henry backing up and drops it. 2 aboard here, and rounding third and coming home to score is Kern. Stanford jumps out to the early lead.
This is going to be the first time, by the way, that Texas has trailed this entire year. That's how strong they have been. But this is just a freshman mistake. She just kind of carried back instead of sprinting back to get underneath that ball. As she carried, her feet kept moving. It bounced off, and good base running by Taryn Kern. She was going all the way. Actually ran through the stop sign. Coach Allister looked like she was putting her hand up for her to stay at third. She went, and now Stanford scores a run. And again, this is the first time that Texas has trailed all year long.
Henry, the reigning national freshman of the week. Out in left field, as you said. Texas trailing 1-0, runner on third. Here is Kaylin Koch. Still no outs here in the first inning.
And talk about a costly error, too. The fact that River Mailer ended all the way up at third base because of that error. A 3-base error with that 1 error.
Well, Texas's defense had been pretty strong this year with a fielding percentage of around .970. But the miscue early.
And worth noting, both of these teams have been tested early this year. They've really challenged themselves in the schedule, but I do think that maybe even giving the edge to Stanford in the tougher schedule that they've faced so far this season. Both teams challenging themselves in February.
And caught in a rundown is Mailer. The throw to third gets away from Scott. Mailer heads home, and she's safe.
Texas defense just letting them down again. This is a squeeze, so River Mailer is going to be running on the pitch. It's a suicide squeeze. Koch misses the bunt, and then they just have her out to dry, but Texas cannot play the rundown. And it did look like she missed the tag maybe of Mailer, but I think Texas might be reviewing it. Actually, all the umpires are still in their spot, but athletic slide by Mailer to get under the tag from Gutierrez, who's not ideal situation for the pitcher to be covering home in that situation. But Stanford scores 2 off of Texas miscues.
Texas will gather in the circle for a breather right now, trying to collect themselves. What a wild sequence.
Absolutely wild. And it did look like almost she got her shoulder, to me, her left shoulder with the high tag, right there, or maybe even her ponytail. The call in the field so important, because even if Texas did review this, it would be very difficult, I feel like, to overturn it. Look at that awkward position that Mailer is sliding in with both of her feet underneath her, not really sliding, not really diving. Her foot got stuck, and then she went back to touch home as Gutierrez was late with the tag.
What a start to this contest. Still no hits, but Stanford with a 2-0 lead. And now the count 3-1. How much are nerves playing a part here early for Texas?
I think a lot of nerves playing your home field in front of this big crowd, and just the start that Stanford has had with Gutierrez not showing a lot of command early on in this game. But you have to remember how important 2 runs is for a team like Stanford. Not a high-scoring team, as Koch draws a walk there like Texas is. But when you have Nigeri Kennedy in the circle, 2 runs is so hard to score for any offense. So 2 runs feels like 5, feels like 6 against a pitcher like her.
Kennedy has never allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game. Her team is up 2-0. So again, a hit batter, an error, the squeeze, and a walk. Runner on first as Mike White looks on. His team 11-0 to start the year, but trailing early. Here is the cleanup hitter, Ali Kaneshiro. Kaneshiro packs a punch. Last week became the first Cardinal in at least 25 years to hit 3 home runs in a single game. Did it against Georgia Tech. Gutierrez had not walked a batter all year before tonight. Walked the 3rd batter of the game, hit the 1st.
Seems like with her harder, her more firm drop ball, she's struggling with command with that pitch. So the pitch that she's going to in order just to find the strike zone is that off-speed curveball. But with her regular drop, she's missing low in the zone, missing in the dirt.
One-two on the way. Poked foul. Texas's pitching staff sees their streak of 20 consecutive scoreless innings allowed come to an end. As I said, Texas trailing for the first time this year. We'll see how they respond. Stanford looking for more early here in the first. Kaneshiro chops one into the glove of Scott. They get the out at second, first out of the ball game.
Good ups by Mia Scott to time this jump perfectly. It just hit hard into the ground, and she makes the stretch, then is able to go for the transfer to her throwing hand and get the out at 2. See what It's being talked about with the umpire out on the field with Coach.
It's the freshman for Stanford, Ava Gall, who went yard earlier today, second career home run. First pitch strike from Gutierrez. Her win over number 2 Tennessee in Clearwater. It was the highest ranked team Texas had beaten in 2 years.
Very likely that when Gutierrez is able to make it out of this inning, that she's going to go into the bullpen and try to figure out this harder drop ball that she throws. Right now, her off-speed pitches is all really that she can locate for a strike.
This is already the most runs Texas has allowed in a game this year. 1 out into the contest.
A lot of shutouts and just a couple of games with giving up 1 run and a couple of giving up 2 runs.
Back up the middle. Washington. Safe. They get the out at second, 2 away.
Love the base running idea there of Kaneshiro. I mean, that is
wise.
Heads up, just to stop. Nobody says you have to run into the out right there. Go ahead and stop, and even just put it in the back of the mind of Washington that something's not routine, that something is a little bit different.
So it'll be Gall over at first, 2 away. Emily Jones steps up to the plate. I think 267 on the season. Sophomore carried a 4-game hitting streak. Here into the second night now of the tournament. Swing and a miss.
Seems eerily quiet in between pitches, doesn't it?
Well, these fans are used to going crazy so far in the first few weeks of the season. They're not used to their team trailing.
It was just so quiet in between pitches. Gonna say that it hit her in the box, and Emily Jones is like, no, it didn't hit me. I should be safe.
And quietly scooting to second is Gall while nobody's looking. Here's a review.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it hit her at all. So many odd plays early in this game, and look how tough that is for the umpire to see, right? The ball is basic.
A hit batter, an error, a walk. That play a moment ago. So here we go, the 1-2 with 2 away to Emily Jones.
Remember, these two teams already faced each other too, so some familiarity because they played each other in Clearwater when Texas got the win 9-2. Lali Gutierrez and Nigeri Kennedy did not pitch in that game.
25 pitches, 26 coming up in the inning already for Gutierrez. Fields that one on to first. At the top of the first is over. Stanford jumping.
Some protection on the front end.
Bella Dayton set to lead off against the reigning NFCA National Freshman of the Year, Nigeri Kennedy, who led the nation in ERA a season ago.
Comes from Kansas all the way over to Stanford. ERA very low, lower than what last season was actually for her.
Very low, that's pretty accurate. She's allowing just 2.5 hits per 7 innings. Just unreal numbers. So here's Dayton, the 5th-year senior, watching the count go 2-1.
And looking for Texas to show patience. And it's hard to show patience because of the velocity that Kennedy throws with. Have less time to make a decision because of how quickly the ball gets you.
Texas coming off a 9-run run rule victory earlier tonight against Colorado State. Kennedy 5 walks on the season in just over 35 innings. And walks the leadoff batter here, Bella Dayton.
I've seen her have good eyes today at the plate against the pitching that she's faced, but the scouting report on Nigeri Kennedy, 70+ miles an hour, up in the zone, legit up spin. I think it's the best rise ball in the country. She will mix her changeup. I feel like I'm seeing that changeup more this year, and it's been very effective, but likely will try to hold that changeup off as long as she can against Texas without showing it too early.
Ball 1 to Mia Scott, the 2-time All Big 12 third baseman. Interesting start to this game for both sides.
It does seem like in general that Kennedy likes to throw to righties more than she likes to throw to lefties. Batting average against lefties this year, 137. Batting average against righties, 058. Basically cut in half.
That one just past the outstretched glove of Kaneshiro.
And I don't feel like you could talk necessarily about Kennedy without mentioning Kaneshiro back behind the plate. One of the best defensive catchers that you'll see across the country. Outstanding effort. She read that ball right off the bat, gave everything that she could to try to get that out. She's great at framing. She's great at throwing out base runners. She got the Gold Glove Award last year back behind the plate.
Not a bad hitter as well. So Mia Scott gets another opportunity. Awaiting the 1-2.
You think about, too, how that plays into Texas's offensive calls, just knowing that she's back behind the plate and putting their runners into motion. We saw Texas, have 8 stolen bases against Colorado State last game. They have a lot of speed on their team, but when you have Kaneshiro back behind the plate, it kind of keeps them at bay a bit.
Count evened up at 2.
Seeing the ball really well out of her hand early in this game. You're used to seeing Kennedy start a game and just dominating teams, that they swing and miss, chase out of the zone, swing out of their shoes at rise balls that are above their head. But Texas, only 2 batters that she's faced so far, showing good patience.
Scott fouls that one off. Kennedy, of course, helping Stanford get to their first Women's College World Series in 19 years a season ago. Struck out 10 yesterday against Louisiana. And that wasn't even among the top 5 strikeout performances of her career.
So tough with 2 strikes, one of the best 2-strike pitchers in the country.
Locked in a battle with Mia Scott.
Like the approach, though, when you see a barrel get to the top of her rise ball and also a line drive within this at-bat with upspin. That's a good sign, and you're going to make Kennedy possibly go to that changeup earlier in the game than maybe what she'd want to.
8th pitch of the at-bat on the way.
There it is. That's her changeup. Oh, thought that was a strike. She thought that she got it for a strike, but look at how she drops it down to 49 miles an hour. She can hit 72, 73, and with this changeup, 49, maybe a little bit up in the zone. Mia Scott takes it. Great AB.
What an at-bat for Mia Scott.
Great at-bat. And you look to see, too, the patience at the plate and how many swings and misses a team is getting. And right now, she's not getting swings and misses.
Scott's reached in 63 of her last 72 games. Who expected that? 2 straight walks to lead off the game for Kennedy.
Great response from Texas after a tough defensive half of the inning when Stanford took a walk into, or hit by pitch, I should say, and a walk into their play, and that was a 10-pitch walk for Mia Scott.
Kennedy only had 5 walks on the season coming into tonight compared to 54 strikeouts. She has walked the first 2 batters And here's the hot-hitting freshman, Katie Stewart, out of Frankfort, Illinois. Swing and a miss.
See, that's what you're used to seeing from Kennedy, and I'll be interested to see now that she's worked through a couple of left-handed hitters. What does she look like against a couple of right-handed hitters, although it's not going to get easy with Katie Stewart and then Reese Atwood, the hottest hitter in the country, on deck.
Stewart has reached in 10 of her first 11 games in a Longhorns uniform. It quickly falls behind 0-2.
Looks like maybe some confusion with the communication device set out to relay the pitches, but this is a swing and miss heat map for Nyjeri Kennedy. That red area is where she gets her most swings and misses. So that's up and in to right-handed hitters, up and in on their hands, like that.
Makes quick work of Katie Stewart.
We show that to you because you love to know a pitcher's strengths, and I think that a pitcher's strengths is where she's getting the most swings and misses, especially when she is a swing and miss strikeout pitcher like Nyjeri Kennedy. She has a Nyjeri stomp. She loves that stomp after a strikeout. It gets her team pumped up, but a good response after back-to-back walks.
And right now you have a battle between one of the best pitchers in America and one of the best hitters, Reese Atwood. Atwood hit a grand slam earlier tonight, the first of her career, and so far this year has hit 8 home runs in her first 11 games.
I mean, she's been so good at up and in, too, Reese Atwood has, with how she's been able to handle it. Just different coming out of the hand of Kennedy, though.
Stays alive. Atwood top 5 in the nation in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Kennedy asking for a new ball. Both pitchers throwing more than 20 pitches here in the first inning.
I think both pitchers trying to settle into this game, some nerves.
Kennedy led the nation a year ago in strikeouts per 7 innings with 11. Looks like we're ready to go. Both teams still hitless. Texas with 2 on, courtesy of free passes. Atwood just got a piece of the 0-2.
Yeah, and with how aggressive Texas is being, I kind of want to see, especially with 2 strikes, I want to see her expand that zone even more up to see if she can get Reese Atwood to chase that pitch. That 0-2 pitch seemed a little bit low. I would have liked to have seen it, at least had her eyes, see if she could get her to swing and miss at it.
One and 2.
She also will mix in a few screw and curveballs as well on both sides of the plate, but that rise ball is by far her go-to pitch. It's actually a timing violation, so that's going to be a strike on Reese Atwood, and that will be an out because there were already 2 strikes on her. So just as a reminder, we do have an action clock out on the field. It will have 20 seconds on it. The batter has 10 seconds to get into the box. The pitcher has 10 seconds to get onto the pitching rubber.
Mike White getting the explanation from Matt Johnson. We've seen a little bit of everything so far in this inning. Associate head coach Steve Singleton joining in on the conversation.
So what they're saying is that it took Reese Atwood longer. So look, we see the pitch clock right now. It's 10 seconds. She gets in at 9, and the timing violation is called on her, and it is on the batter. That's going to go down as a strike.
Strikeout number 2 then for Kennedy. Here's Jolie Mitchell with 2 away and 2 on.
It's a huge call. Just putting it all together.
The last thing you want to do is help Kennedy out by giving her a strike.
especially against the hottest hitter in the country. Oh, my goodness, that looks like a strike. We have seen some tight strike zones, Alex.
Throughout this weekend. They're the Lone Star State Invitational. Chopped over to short, on to first, and dropped at first base by Gall, and flying in to score is Bella Dayton.
Both defenses just playing so tight. Good hustle by Jolie Mitchell, because this ball took River Mailer deep into the hole. It was a long throw. Would have been close at first base regardless, but didn't even get a call from the umpire at first base on if she actually would have been out. But the ball is dropped. Bella Dayton's going to score back-to-back walks to start this inning, and one of them come around to score.
I will say this, Amanda. We have seen this before this season when Kennedy's in the circle, coming off a record-setting freshman campaign a year ago, when she drove in 52 runs, a new Texas freshman record.
I think everybody just needs to settle down into this game a bit. We've already played for 30 minutes, and we're not even through the first inning. A lot of pitches thrown, a lot of free passes, and like you will continue to say, no hits yet.
Martinez starting to heat up, batting just under 370. Went to Clearwater, Florida, hitting about 320. Has bumped that average up, but now behind Kennedy, 0-2.
Interesting to see how the lefties, in my opinion, have just looked so much better against Kennedy. The way that they're seeing the ball out of her hand.
A lot of talk here in the first inning. The umpires getting their 10,000 steps in. .31 pitches now in the first for Nyjah Kennedy.
I like that. Talked about expanding the zone a little bit more just to see if Texas will hold back patience. I like that pitch that is more up in the zone, well out of the strike zone, just to see if the hitter will take that pitch, and if you can get her to chase, even better.
Two. Just in foul territory is Barry to make the grab, and the inning comes to an end. Texas responds with one in the bottom of the first.
Loved calling her games and loved watching her play.
Outstanding player as Alyssa Washington leads off the second inning, playing Janae Jefferson's old position, second base this year. Washington, team captain, newly named. Mike White said last year in the postseason, the Super Regionals in Tennessee, he said in those Super Regionals, no one on his team was really taking charge and stepping up. Figured out it was time to name a captain, let the players vote on it, and they decided Alyssa was going to wear the C. And off to one of the best starts of her career offensively, hitting .375.
I put a vote out to the team, and she had the most votes, and coaching staff agreed and got behind that as well to name her the captain.
Over to short. One away. Well, up to the plate now comes the reigning NFCA National Player of the Week, Caden Henry, out of Dickinson, Texas. In her first two collegiate home runs against this Stanford team in Clearwater, hitting .607 in her first season of college softball. Swing and a miss.
Little down movement there. Looked like maybe a curveball right at the knees, and you're used to seeing a lot more upspin, just even with her curve and her screw, it be a little bit more up in the zone, but I like that pitch stayed down.
You could see the swings from the freshman on Texas. Having trouble catching up with Kennedy as now the count goes 0-2. Kennedy with a couple of strikeouts, a couple of walks so far. And it misses. Texas continuing to try and be patient. You and I were talking before the game, saying this team has never trailed, facing one of the, if not the toughest pitcher in America. How will they respond if they fall behind early?
Yeah, it's just such a great challenge for them because you want your team to be tested in a variety of different ways in February and early in March before you start conference play, because you want them prepared for anything and everything that they will face and see in a real game moving forward, trying to win a conference championship.
Strikeout number 3 for Kennedy.
Like this pitch location that is more up in the zone, but it kind of seemed like it curved back over the plate, so it rose a little bit, but also seemed like it curved too. But third strikeout of the day for Kennedy.
Ashton Maloney up in the 9 spot. .435 hitter on the season. Again, Texas came into this one top 2 in the country in runs per game, batting average, and home runs per game.
It does seem like I've seen a little downspin from her a couple of times in this inning to give these Texas hitters a different look. You know, after every half inning, you run into the dugout, talk to your pitching coach, kind of review things and think about, okay, we have a new inning to start fresh. What do we got to show? What do we want to do? And it just makes that rise ball, when you can throw something down, it makes the rise ball look that much more explosive.
And now ahead of Maloney, 1-2.
Tori Nyberg, the pitching coach for Stanford, in the dugout, calls the pitches.
Kennedy is pumped. She ends the inning with back-to-backs.
Yesterday, too. And it is hard in this day and age, 3 weeks in, to be an undefeated team because there's so much parity in our sport. You're playing good teams.
One of those squads, Texas, trailing 2-1 as we enter the third. Still hitless, both of these squads right now. Taryn Kern, the leadoff hitter, hit by a pitch to begin the game. She's just the second undergrad transfer in the history of Stanford softball.
Yeah, it's just so hard to transfer in academically into Stanford, but she was definitely a big name transfer to get into the portal and then return back more home, or closer to home, I should say, and go to Stanford.
The acceptance rate into Stanford is less than 4%.
Wow.
And that got a piece for her. She's hit for the second time in this game, and for the 9th time this year.
Coach White is going to ask about if she herself was in the river. Yeah, just hit her just on that elbow pad. But you see how much she's over the plate. In my opinion, she's out over the river of the plate. So that doesn't mean that it should be a strike, but the ball has to be completely in the batter's box for it to be a hit by pitch, and that's why Coach White's going to challenge this hit by pitch.
You know, we got one look at it. I'm not so sure it hit her.
You can look to see if it hit her, or also the location of the pitch is something that they can look at as well to see if it hit her while her elbow is out over the river. Remember, in order for it to be a hit by pitch, the ball has to be completely in the batter's box.
I'm not sure if that made contact.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think that she should still be standing there based off of the location of the pitch, period.
Let's see her reaction here, too.
I don't see anything. I don't know. This is just such a tricky one, honestly. She's so far out over the plate with her elbow that I don't see that this is a hit by pitch, because the ball needs to be 100% in the batter's box.
Stanford has had 3 base runners so far tonight. Kern was hit earlier. Another reached on an error. And Koch walked. Here's another view.
I mean, it's just so tough, because with where she's standing at, you're taking away the strike zone on the inner half. It looks like it could have even been a called strike, actually, with where the location of the pitch was.
Yeah. The review continues. Citlali Gutierrez so far. 1 walk, no strikeouts. Both runs allowed unearned. Get word they're wrapping up the review. They're still awaiting the official word upstairs to us what the call was.
You know, we always get to be last to know, even though we could be the first to tell some people that are listening to this game.
Needless to say, she will not be heading over to first base after all. Back to the batter's box.
I think this is
Taryn Kern.
a great call, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me just
Did not appear to hit her.
say that. So
Explanation given to head coach Jessica Allister.
So it won't be a strike. It will be just a ball, and the count will be 3-0.
Okay, there we go. After all that, ends up on first anyways. Leadoff hitter aboard. Two walks now issued by Gutierrez. Here comes River Miller, the first team all Pac-12 selection. Team's top hitter entering this weekend. Lays down the bunt. Charging in is Mia Scott. Look at the speed from the third baseman.
You want to see your third baseman take charge like this. She is so quick. She was on top of things as soon as she squared. But you want to go ahead and take the ball away from your pitcher in that situation. You have the better angle. You're moving toward first base. And what a play by Mia Scott. I mean, she ended up being like 3 steps away from first base when she made that play. But
the bag herself.
Still good execution by Stanford to move Kern into scoring position with a sacrifice bunt.
And Kaylin Koch coming up to bat. The senior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Koch healthy again after suffering a season-ending torn ACL last year after starting 30 games. They dealt with a number of injuries on their way to the Women's College World Series. Remember, even for a while, Kennedy missed some time. Jonna Schrader had a torn ACL as well, all of last season.
Yeah, some big injuries for them. Trying to work through that and still made it to the World Series.
This one ripped down the line. That's a fair ball as it goes into the corner, flying around the bases, and scoring is Kern. Stanford goes back up by 2.
Coach Allister has been loving the at-bats from Caitlin Koch. That's why she puts her right there in that 3 spot. Look at how she just stays on that inside corner, keeps it fair. I mean, that was fair by just a couple of feet, but fair is fair. And because of the sacrifice bunt, put down, good execution by Stanford, able to score a run from second base. And Stanford up by 2 runs again, and Caitlin Koch Koch showing some energy.
Texas had not allowed 3 runs in a game all year until right now. And Kennedy has never allowed more than 3 earned in a game. So Texas now with a 2-run deficit yet again. Here's the cleanup hitter, Ali Kaneshiro. What are you seeing out of Gutierrez right now? She had the long first inning, seemed to turn it around the second, only threw 9 pitches, but now the pace slowing down again.
Yeah, I think second time through the order, you know, you're having better looks off of the pitcher, but I just don't feel like she has as good a movement and command with her drop ball tonight. I think that that's been the difference maker. In fact, she's even thrown more balls than she has strikes in this game so far.
Kaneshiro pokes one, just foul. Remember, it was the freshman Tegan Cavan who started against Stanford in Clearwater and ended up picking up the win. She pitched earlier tonight, a few hours ago, in the Texas 9-0 victory. Making Gutierrez throw a lot of pitches tonight.
Yeah, it's funny how you just can't ever really predict exactly how a game is going to go. This one's already been close to an hour long, and we're just in the top of the 3rd inning. A lot of long at-bats, a lot of walks, a lot of foul balls.
And finally, one team has a hit, Stanford, a moment ago, courtesy of Koch. Gutierrez really worked on her control in the offseason. Mike White said he noticed she was bouncing around a lot in the circle and never really got properly set before delivering a pitch. So a few weeks ago, he had her get set and count to 3 before starting her windup.
Yeah, and there, you can tell a drastic difference, actually, with her starting motion.
Kaneshiro fouls another one off.
And she moved a little bit quicker through the beginning of her pitch, so she would get the signal, get her grip on the right, and after she got the signal, so it really happens before she even throws the pitch. After she gets the signal in 2024, you see that lean back, that exaggerated lean back, kind of gathers herself. Coach White, that's what he wanted to help implement that with her, to try to get her situated and squared away before the pitch.
Locked in an absolute battle with Kaneshiro. Well, you said it, second time through, they're seeing things a little differently against her.
Coach White even said that made her get set and count to 3 before she started her windup, and it's helped her become a more consistent starting base. And I know that you already said that, but just reiterating.
Emphasizing the point.
I think it's an important thing for other pitchers to learn from too, that may have missed it the first time, and then you see it actually happen in real life. But that's what she's doing, is she's getting the signal, getting her grip, and then gathering herself for 1, 2, 3 that she counts in her head to lean back a little bit and then go.
Kaneshiro slices one. Maloney makes the grab. Ashton Maloney with the out. Stanford saying it hit the ground. And Jessica Allister coming out to argue.
Didn't look like it bounced. It was hard to see if it bounced from the ground into her glove or if it bounced. Ooh. While it was in her glove. Let's see. I think it bounced while it was in her glove, and I think it made it deceptive. And Ali Kaneshiro was right there at first base saying right away to Coach Allister, it bounced. But amazing play by Ashton Maloney. That is such a big second out, considering that Kaneshiro has the most home runs and RBI on the team. And she is their leader, and this has been a long at bat.
She's one of the most underrated players on the Texas team, Maloney. Arguably their best, most consistent outfielder, but that one will be challenged. Here we go. Call stands.
Is now a good time to remind you that this game has been an hour and it's the top of the third and there's only been one hit?
Good grief. Two-way now for Ava Gall. Ashton Maloney, the big grin, saying, see, I told you all along.
First baseman number 51, Ava Gall.
Yeah, Stanford's done a good job of putting the ball in play against Sitlali, too. No strikeouts for them so far.
Two of their 3 runs scored have been unearned, thanks to a Texas error in the first inning. Here's the freshman Ava Gall into a fielder's choice in the first. That one down the line. That's a foul ball. Everything has been slightly controversial, or at least close.
Everything.
A lot of close calls.
There's just not been one thing that I feel like has been easy, except for maybe a swing and miss from Kennedy or something. That's more the most straightforward we've seen.
That one poked to left field. Henry is there. And the inning comes to an end. Stanford jumps back up by 2. We'll talk to their head coach, Jessica. There she is a moment ago, right before we came back. Some words of wisdom from her head coach, Jessica Allister.
Thank you.
And Coach Allister joins us now. Coach, we just saw you talking a moment ago to Naija Kennedy. Any insight into that conversation you can provide?
No, telling her to keep at it.
I figured. Coach, we've seen a little bit of everything in this contest so far. What do you make of the first few innings?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. I think it's great atmosphere, 2 great teams, and you know this is why we come here. It's a great atmosphere, it's great softball, and it's a good thing we have video review.
Coach, how would you describe your at-bats up to this point?
I think we're having good at-bats. I think we threw away a couple early on, but I think we've been productive. We're getting bunts down. I think we're doing a good job attacking the strikes that we want to taking balls. So I think we can continue to build on it, but I think it's off to a good start.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Jessica Allister squad 8-4 on the year. They've taken down 2 ranked teams, Tennessee and San Diego State, leading number 2 Texas 3-1. Back up to the top of the order. Now, throughout the season, this has been the big inning for Texas so far, including against Stanford in Clearwater, the 3rd. And the 2nd time through, here's Bella Dayton. Take strike 1.
Yeah, I think Kennedy will be looking to see the 2nd time through the order, especially against the left-handed hitters, if she can get the outside corner called. First time through when she threw her screwball or a low rise on the outer half. She was throwing it for a ball, and now it's back-to-back strikes on the outer half, getting that pitch called. That will be a difference maker for her to help set up her higher rise ball in the zone and maybe even a changeup later in the count.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. Chopped over to short. Mailer has to hurry. Not in time. Another close call.
Just such a good job by Bella Dayton to get the top of this Kennedy rise ball. That's how you know a hitter has a good approach. She is so hard to get the upper half of the ball and pound it to the ground. And I thought that she was out. Bing, bing play, but I thought that she was out by a quarter of a step. And
oh, wow.
Man, we have just seen umpires challenged in this game.
Interesting, the one play we won't see a challenge on. That is the first hit of the night for Texas. Mia Scott.
Well, you have to think now that you want to save a challenge. I mean, you don't get to keep your challenge even if you win it. So we're only in the bottom of the 3rd inning. There's a lot of game left to be played. You want to have your challenge maybe for later on.
Coach Allister decides to save that. Well, if history is any indicator, Bella Dayton getting a hit is a good sign for Texas. Over the last 2 years, the Longhorns are 28-3 when Dayton gets a hit. Scott lays down the bunt. Barry over to first. Advances the runner.
Everything speeds up on defense with Texas's speed. Even a bunt like that, it's a sacrifice situation. But when you have speed like Mia Scott, you can get down the line and turn that sacrifice into a base hit. But sacrifice bunt, nonetheless, good execution to move Dayton into scoring position.
Here comes Katie Stewart, the freshman, who struck out on 3 pitches in her first career at bat against Kennedy. Rips one over to third, snared by Berry.
So when you said that this game felt more like a postseason game, like even starting it, I'm feeling it now, right here in the 3rd inning, second time for the order coming up. You know, the middle of the order with Reese Atwood coming to the plate now is coming up, just down by 2 runs. Like, it starts to feel tighter to me right
tense.
now.
It is very tense down there. Here's Reese Atwood, struck out in the first. Atwood on a record-setting pace right now, 8 home runs in their first 11 games. Is the National Player of the Week, first week of the season. Remember, she struck out after taking too long to get back in the batter's box.
That was a good swing right there by Atwood. And when you look at her spray chart of the home runs that she's hit, so 6 + 5, that was 11 more to the pull side. And look, this is 5, 1, and 1. Using more of the middle of the field. She had a home run earlier tonight, too, that was to dead left field. But when she's hit for power, she's been able to hit all parts of the zones and change-ups as well. And using the middle of the field, she's gotten more down into her stance this year than when you compared it to what you saw out of her, especially to start last year. Helped her direction. She's been so tough with 2 strikes, too, and so good with runners in scoring position. I mean, you just look at all the stats that Reese Atwood has put together, and there's nothing that screams vulnerability. It screams everything. I'm ready to hit in every situation that I come up in.
Hitting .818 in 2-out situations. 2-2.
I know Kaneshiro made that look easy to catch that rise ball. That is not easy to catch that. A lot of history together, a lot of rises that she's caught from Kennedy.
Bella Dayton at second. The 2-2 with 2 away. Atwood gets into one, sends it to deep left center, and we are tied at 3. Home run number 9 on the year for the sophomore.
What a battle by Reese Atwood. Remember, she struck out with a timing violation. Didn't necessarily get her full at bat off of Kennedy and her last at bat, so she makes the most of it. This one fouls off several pitches, but gets her barrel on plane with that rise ball up and in and sends it just up the middle of the field. We said it, we showed you, that is where she has been driving the ball with power up the middle of the field. Reese Atwood ties up this game with her 9th home run this season.
Just the 2nd homer allowed this year by Kennedy. Jolie Mitchell grounds out to end the inning, but we have a brand new ball. Now joins us, coach. This feels like a postseason matchup, but we're only in February. What do you make of the first 3 innings down there from your vantage point?
Yeah, I think there was no hits and a couple of runs up on the board there for a while, but you know, it's all it was made out to be. It's a great pitching matchup and 2 good teams going at it, so it's a lot of fun right now.
Coach, what will you be looking closely at in terms of Gutierrez to maybe pull her, bring in some relief? Like, what will you be looking at to know when the right time is?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it pretty quickly, actually. So, you know, she's having some struggles there. She's not getting some calls that she really kind of needs. So I've got to look at that and assess that.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Great question. A little inside info there. Citlali Gutierrez, only 1 run earned, but 56 pitches thrown in the first 3 innings.
It's a big inning for her, especially with where Stanford is at in their lineup, 6, 7, 8 coming up. She has a chance to try to settle into this game and have a quick inning.
Facing the sophomore infielder, Emily Jones, misses with the ball. Mac Morgan is warming up in the Texas bullpen.
We've seen just about everybody throw down there with the exception of Kavan, who threw earlier today.
Jones takes one to center right at Bella Dayton.
Those are the types of swings that you start to see from Stanford too. That's, you start to put 2 and 2 together about, okay, when is the right time to put my next pitcher in? Because that was a good swing, good take. Also in that at bat by Emily Jones to take a close pitch, and then he swing at something like that, barrel it up. Speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he's going to make a change because the last 2 batters have lined out. Also a double the second time through the order, run scoring double and a walk, so that may be the end of the road for.
Figure it out.
Well, Mike White did tell us earlier in the week that Estelle Check does take a while to warm up in the bullpen. He's trying to expedite that process. Maybe she said she needed a little more time. We'll see. Regardless, Gutierrez evened up at 1-1 with the batter Jade Berry. Second time through the order, Stanford hitting the ball a little bit harder now against Gutierrez. Berry to left field. Henry tracking it, makes the run down the line for the grab. 2 away. Here comes Jana Schrader. Looks like they're going to stick with Gutierrez. 3 straight lineouts now against Citlali Gutierrez.
Now, coming into this weekend, Coach White liked how she was pitching stingy, is what he called it, in her outing against Tennessee in Clearwater. How nasty her stuff has been.
The big complete game win over Tennessee.
That off-speed drop we haven't seen as much as how she threw it in the Tennessee game. I mean, that pitch was so effective against a very good offense for Tennessee. Pitch that he says that she had last year, but it's been more consistent this year and really confident using it against left-handed hitters.
Pitch number 65 on the night from Gutierrez on the way. Really starting to fall behind for the last handful of Stanford batters. Trying to squeeze a few more at-bats out of her. You ever seen that before? Pitcher run all the way down to the infield and then back out to the pen?
I've seen a lot of games, so I'm sure that it has happened at some point, but not in recent memory. I mean, she came running out thinking, we're going to have a pitching change for sure.
2-2 to Schrader. Three runs off just 1 hit, 1 error for Stanford for Texas. 3-2-1. Two on the way. Gutierrez has walked 2 in this one. Still yet to strike out about it. Fans into it here at McCombs Field. Payoff pitch. Bouncing over to Martinez, who handles it cleanly. A 1-2-3 inning work by Citlali Gutierrez. On to the bottom of the 4th we go. Game so far, it's lived up to the hype between number 2 Texas and number 12 Stanford. And leading off the bottom of the 4th inning, is Vivi Martinez for Texas. Longhorns broke through in the third. They had scored just one run unearned through the first 2 innings, but then got the big 2-run homer from Reese Atwood in the last frame. What do you make of Kennedy's performance so far?
I think that Texas, especially the left-handed hitters, have had a really good approach off of her. And I feel like it, especially early on, her command lacked a little. And I think that their offense is forcing her to pitch differently, especially early in the first 4 innings of this game, than what she normally does when she goes out. She has her routine, rise, 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 strikeout, 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 and they've challenged her tonight.
That went off Martinez. Keep in mind, Kennedy has never allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game. 2 of the 3 she's given up tonight are earned. And that was the storyline. How would one of the nation's best offenses, maybe the best in the country, Texas fare against arguably the best pitcher in the country? Martinez still shaking that one off. Hobbles back into the batter's box. Kennedy. Kern calls for it. 1 away.
You have to remember, too, that Lena Vaughter, who was #2 pitcher essentially for Stanford last year, pitched in the World Series behind Stanford, was a drop ball pitcher, was such a big help behind Nyjari Kennedy. She ended up in the transfer portal in the summer, ended up at South Carolina, and now it's Nyjari Kennedy and Reagan Krause and Alyssa Houston. But the experience that Vaughter had behind Kennedy was just so important, and the different look, the confidence that she had made Kennedy even tougher knowing that she was behind her.
Reagan Krause taking over that #2 role. And Stanford picked up the victory earlier today. Here's Alyssa Washington, 0 for 1. Captain has reached in 9 of the 10 games she started this year. Kennedy, 4 strikeouts, couple of walks, 2 hits allowed, a double and a single. Excuse me, a home run and a single an inning ago.
And coming into this weekend, when we talked to Coach Alistair about Nyjari Kennedy, first of all, she said she's unlike anything that I've ever seen. But she also said that Coach Alistair said she doesn't really think that she's throwing as well as she should. That's Kennedy thinking that about herself, even though she's had such great results up to this point in the season. She just didn't really feel like she's throwing her best, thinks that she can hit better spots and that her pitches can be sharper. And I think that tonight is probably a clear representation of that she can be dominant at times still, but she could be even better than what she's at right now.
Why do you think that is? Just early in the season?
Early in the season, maybe some pressure, expectations. Now everybody knows the scattering report is 73 up in the zone. That's a great pitch right there on the changeup.
Called strike 3, strikeout #5 on the night.
She threw that changeup at times last year, but she's bringing it out more this year, knowing that everybody is looking for her rise ball and not 50 miles an hour right at the knees. I love, too, that she threw that on the inside corner. She's loving it with her battery mate, Ali Kaneshiro. Froze Washington.
You mentioned the pressure coming off last year's National Freshman of the Year campaign, led the country in ERA, strikeouts per 7 innings. The secret was out after that. Here's Caden Henry, big swing and a miss. Texas only averages about 4 strikeouts per game so far this year. But after that last one, they're up to 5 tonight. Henry struck out in the second. Mike White talked about Henry being a big-time player. As far as the moment is concerned, the bigger the moment, the better she is. No fear in Caden Henry. She fouls one off, 1-2. top 5 recruit in the country. Again, reigning National Player of the Week. First time in Texas history they earned back-to-back National Player of the Week honors. First it was Atwood and then Henry. The wind's picking up here at McCombs Field. Is that one fouled off?
Yeah, actually it is blowing straight out now, and you can look at the flags and they're whipping around and either blowing straight out or more toward left field.
We saw it earlier in this game, and in the previous games today, the wind has caused problems at times for some of the outfielders. Swing and a miss. Gets Henry for the second time, and that is now 6 Ks on. You're out of Downers Grove, Illinois. Takes over for Citlali Gutierrez. First pitch to Kira Chain in the 9 spot is a ball. Estelle Check yet to allow a run or a walk. Phenomenal numbers coming into this one. Alyssa Washington.
Check, of course, comes from the left-hand side, gives that lefty look, and the lefty curveball on both sides of the plate will makes a little upspin with her rise ball and her off speed. It's going to be up to her to utilize her spin versus more speed. Spin the ball through the zone and also change speeds with that off-speed pitch.
Third time through the order now for Stanford, but again, new pitcher in there, Estelle Check.
And I think that these pitchers for Texas enter every game or start the game just so hungry, knowing that they don't know when their next relief outing or start is going to be. And it pushes them to be their best in the time that they have because of how strong Texas's pitching staff has been. A lot of complete games, a lot of quality starts going deep into the game. You don't know when the next time is that you're going to pitch. Have to take advantage of it.
Kern just staying alive. Estelle Check, since transferring over from NC State, has gone 25-6 in a Longhorns uniform. And at times last year, they relied on her to be their ace. Washington busy. One of the most efficient innings so far for Texas pitching, much to the approval of the crowd. Here's River Mailer. Reached on an error in the first and hit into a fielder's choice in the third. Hit a 2-run double earlier today against Colorado State. 387 hitter on the year. Not too far off that a season ago when she hit 350. Check ahead 0-2. Check ready to go in the circle. And misses.
And you can see she's more intense pitcher, I would say, when she's out there, constantly talking to her battery mate, constantly talking to herself and into her glove.
Time is called. I think we asked her a year or two ago, well, a year ago, either before the season or during the year, you know, about the talk, the positive talk, was it? She said just, you know, positive affirmations, reinforcement. Keeping the right mindset out there, staying focused as Jessica Allister leaves the conversation with a smile with Matt Johnson.
Well, it's because Estelle Check shook off a pitch coming in from the dugout, and with the action clock now, there's really no time to shake off a pitch. So you might shake off a pitch and there's still only 5 seconds left, and that the coach has to get the call back out, or pick a sign, get the call back out to you. You read it and then get your grip and go. And so Reese Atwood ended up calling timeout to save her pitcher.
Wisely done. That one in and out of the glove of Stewart, tosses it to no one, so rounding first will be Mailer, and she will end up in scoring position.
Good base running by River Mailer as soon as she saw that ball down, but I think Katie Stewart just assuming that Alyssa Washington was going to be covering first base or moving over that way, was going to try to have an assist instead of take it on her own, but a little bobble there led Mailer to be safe at first and move on to second.
Mike White said that was one of the few question marks on the team first base. We've seen Jolie Mitchell, the transfer from Notre Dame, platoon with Stewart, and both have had their moments over there at first. Here's Kaylin Koch. Had the run-scoring double in the third and walked in the first inning. Swing and a miss.
Still check with this lefty-on-lefty matchup. We mentioned that in Stanford's lineup, there are 7 left-handed hitters and just 2 righties. And unless 643charts.com is lying to me, Stelchek has not given up a hit to a left-handed hitter yet this season. Batting 0 off of her, and righties are batting 125. Now, a smaller sample size, she hasn't pitched a ton, but still, the lefties that she's faced has not gotten a hit.
Yeah, he's thrown 8 2/3 so far this year. Mailer on second. 2-2. And lines out to end the inning. A big out recorded by Estelle Check and the defense behind her. It remains a 3.
In the second and the third. See if she can have a low pitch count here in this inning to get back and then a better average.
She has struck out 2 in a row. Here's Ashton Maloney leading off. The bunt attempt goes foul. Kennedy 6 strikeouts, a couple of walks. You mentioned both defenses being shaky at times. Of the 6 total runs tonight, 3 have been unearned. Right into the glove of Berry.
It's a big thing about having more of an upspin pitcher like Kennedy with her rise ball in the circle, is that when you have a team like Texas that likes to use their short game and you're going up against a rise ball, you have to find the top of the ball, and it's just so challenging with that upspin. Oftentimes will pop up bunts, make it much more easy outs.
Here comes Bella Dayton, the only Texas batter to reach twice. Walked in the first, singled in the third. Caught her foot there. That's one of the toughest players you'll see, Bella Dayton. Shaking off numerous injuries throughout her career.
You've seen that a lot today from the Texas lefties in general. The inside corner, low and in, has not been kind to their shins and to their feet.
It's getting a little chilly out there too, so it's going to hurt just a little
bit more.
Dayton ready to go. Kennedy getting closer and closer to 80 pitches now, but you mentioned the big inning pitch-wise was the first when she threw 33. Sent into foul territory, and leaping for it is Schrader. 2 away.
Run a long way and
got there a little early.
Got there early, and remember the wind is blowing too, as you pointed out a couple of times. That sometimes you can overrun this. We saw it earlier tonight too, but most important part, doesn't have to be pretty, but she came away with the second out, and an important second out with the top of the lineup up for Texas.
You just have a feeling this one's going to come down to a defensive play tonight. It just feels that way.
They're calling it.
First one misses to Mia Scott. Walked in the first. Plan for Scott originally this year was to play the outfield center field, but Caden Henry, the star freshman, has been so good so far in her career. She's played in the outfield. That one off the glove of Barry. Mailer can't get it there in time. It's bobbled anyway. And Scott reaches with 2 away.
It's just such good barrel control that we've seen from the approach of the Texas hitters, and specifically from Mia Scott, to be able to get the top half of the ball from Kennedy and a rise ball up in the zone, hit that ball hard at Barry, and find a way on now for the middle of the order to get up in this inning.
Texas is now out hitting Stanford 3-1. Scott over at first. Here's the freshman Katie Stewart, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That one will make its way into the stands. Great effort there, great effort.
One thing that I haven't seen from Kennedy against these right-handed hitters is using her curveball. She has a good curveball, and with how much she uses her screw and her rise ball up and in on the hands of these right-handed hitters, it really opens up the outer half of the plate that she hasn't thrown in. And that Reese Atwood at bat, whenever she hit the home run, I thought that she was going to throw it there. I thought that was a situation, but she went back up and in to what she's consistently been throwing, and what her heat map will show is a place that she goes to over and over again. But surprised we haven't seen more curveballs to these righties.
Her 1-1 offering ripped just foul.
Because you see how on the inner half that these right-handed hitters are. Really opens up the outside corner, especially when you're worried about 73, 70 miles an hour on your hands on the inner half. You have to get there quick. You have to decide quick. And so front half of your swing, your hip can just twitch a little bit and be quick, and it opens up the outer half to either a changeup or a curveball. Like that. At least show it. That's, I think, one of the first curveballs that we've seen. And so if you haven't thrown it in a while, you're not going to have great command of it. But I like the idea, and where the head is at of Coach Nyberg and also of Kennedy.
Action clock winding down. Has to hurry. Check swing. Well, in case you didn't notice by that foul ball, Katie Stewart is one of the hardest hitters this Texas team. I mean, you were there in Clearwater. She may have hit the longest home run ball of any team at the tournament. Mammoth shot against this Stanford team.
Yeah, they're well aware of her power, that's for sure.
Sends one to shallow right. That's a fair ball. It will drop in. Scott will hold up at third. Thought about heading home. Now runners on the corners for Texas.
And she ended up going back to the curveball, but just a good piece of hitting for Katie Stewart to not swing and miss on that curveball and still swing hard. Mia Scott looked like she was being sent by Coach White. You see, he's sending her, and it looked like she herself decided to put on the brakes, but she's not even looking at him. She's picking up the ball and decided on her own to not advance, even though he was sending her.
Wise decision, it seemed like, looking at the replay.
Maybe. I know Coach White likes to be aggressive, but there's so many things that have to go right with the play at the plate. You have to make the throw. You have to make the catch. You have to hold on to the tag. There could
12 games into the year.
Yeah, and that's thanks to Chris Brown, the Texas SID, but also Nyberg Kennedy has only in her career given up 3 home runs. And one of them is to Reese Atwood. I mean, that is an astonishing stat, especially in 665 plate appearances against her, only giving up 3 home runs. And special shout out to Karen Johns, who works with us at ESPN and just texted that stat away. I mean, such a great teamwork with Team ESPN softball, but that is an amazing stat. This goes to show you how special Reese Atwood is seeing the ball early in the season.
Texas with back-to-back singles off of Kennedy. Fans are into it now. Atwood lifts one to center field. Calling for it is Jones. And the threat is over. Texas strands two. And Kennedy gets out of a jam. We are still tied against Estelle Check. Check out there for the second inning of her stint out of the bullpen. Wind picking up here at McCombs Field, gusting out to left field. Panachero. Washington called off Martinez, the captain. You and I kept discussing that play during the break. Would Scott have been out at home? Throw looked pretty good. He's talking about one of the best catchers in the nation. It would have been awfully close.
It would have been really close, and Coach White was sending her.
Well, you said it. He is aggressive. No doubt about that.
Hindsight's always 20/20, though, isn't it? Oh, he shouldn't have sent her because they played it perfectly, or oh, he should have sent her because Reese Atwood got out the next hitter.
We'll never know. Ava Gall, that one over the glove of Stewart. And the go-ahead run for Stanford is on at first.
First left-handed hitter hit against Check.
It looks like we may have a pinch runner for Gall. That will indeed be the case. Eliak, the senior, comes out of the dugout. Emily Jones coming up to bat, sophomore infielder. Carried a 4-game hitting streak into today. Rally caps on in the Stanford dugout, even though they're not trailing. Hoping for some late game heroics from their offense.
Have to think about how special of a matchup this is in February, though. You have two teams that are hoping to get to the World Series this year. Stanford hoping to make it back-to-back appearances.
.1-0 on the way from Check. Well, if Eck does decide to go at first, she's got 3 stolen bases on the year. Atwood has a very underrated arm. We keep talking about her offense, her bat. That one popped right into the glove of Check. A huge second out recorded. Seen both teams now pop up bunt attempts.
Yeah, she has the ability to have some rise ball spin in a bunt situation. She spins the ball up and gets the pop-up. Not that easy pop-up out.
Jade Berry takes strike one. Former high school All-American out of Arizona.
Just clipping that inside corner, that backdoor curveball that Check will throw in a lefty-on-lefty matchup can just freeze hitters.
Swing and a miss. Estelle Check ends the top of the 6th inning with a strikeout.
First strikeout of the day.
As Jolie Mitchell leads off the 6th inning. First time through the order, Texas did not get a hit off Naija Kennedy. Second time through, they got 2. And the third time through, they're currently 2 for 4 off her. We've been tied since the 3rd inning. Stanford jumped out in front in the first. 2 runs thanks to a Texas defensive miscue. Popped up. Naylor is there.
Yeah, always important to get that leadoff out to both innings that Texas has had their leadoff hitter on. That's the innings that they scored.
Vivi Martinez coming up. 0 for 2 with a couple of pop-ups. .350 hitter this season. What are you seeing out of Kennedy over the past couple of innings?
Just more command, being able to throw more strikes and find, again, different ways to get outs. Texas's third time through has not struck out, so putting the ball in play against her, but continuing to mix her variety of pitches.
95 pitches on the night now for the sophomore. And hits Martinez. So the third time through the order, 3 of the first 6 Texas batters have now reached. Here comes Alyssa Washington to the plate. This part of the order is where Kennedy has gotten a big chunk of her strikeouts. The last 3 batters have resulted in 4 strikeouts. Alyssa Washington hitting .346 on the season. Go ahead run over at first. Oh, 0-2. Kennedy with 6 strikeouts on the night. Martinez fouls one back about a foot over your head.
Yeah, that was close. Those rise ball pitchers, you know, they get the fly balls or the foul balls right back at us. You gotta be on your toes.
Pitch number 100 on the night. Fouled off to Martinez's left.
The more that Texas can just continue to put the ball in play and make Stanford's defense make a play or find a hole in the outfield like Katie Stewart did when she dumped that ball in right field on a curveball off the end of her bat, just not striking out.
Called strike 3. Number 7 on the night for Kennedy.
Froze her on a low rise ball right at the knees. Just clipped the corner, got the called strike.
Well, how about this? We're going to have a pinch hitter in place of the reigning National Player of the Week. Kaden Henry struck out twice, so she's replaced by the freshman out of Houston, Victoria Hunter, the number 12 recruit in the nation. Hunter off to a hot start, hitting .636. In her first year in a Texas uniform as Henry looks on.
Just not an easy task, and if you're Kennedy, I'd want to just go right at her, knowing she's a freshman, knowing that she hasn't seen you. To go right at her and show her your best stuff.
Texas's freshmen between Henry and Stewart have struck out 3 times. Hunter takes one to right field. That's going to drop in. Texas has 2 on with 2 away.
Oh, Coach White is going to love that from the freshman. Put her in for another freshman, gave her an opportunity. She took the first strike. Kennedy goes right back to the same pitch. It's more out over the plate, and she notices this is a pitch I need to swing at. A mistake more over the plate, left out, and the freshman Hunter takes advantage of it. Now, runner in scoring position for Texas.
And it looks like we'll have another pinch hitter on the way, but first a meeting in the circle for Stanford. Victoria Hunter, just another one of these talented freshmen Mike White has brought in, again hitting over 600 on the year. Stanford preparing for the situation now, but instead of Ashton Maloney hitting, we have a pinch hitter and a pinch runner. Take it over at first. Kaden Henry replaces her pinch hitter, Victoria Hunter. Now we have Katie Simmons, the veteran from Humble, Texas, coming up to bat in place of Ashton Maloney.
Yeah, and this is where the depth of Texas really starts to show with pinch hitters and people off the bench. And look at the confidence, too, just to put in a new face without seeing Kennedy in this game. You might think, okay, third at bat, they've already seen the hitters that are being replaced. They've already seen her. This will be the third time. Might have a better chance of getting a hit, but so much confidence in the hitters off the bench to come in and get the job done, even against one of the best pitchers in the country.
Simmons was an everyday starter for Mike White in her first 2 years with the Longhorns. 3 for 10 this year as a pinch hitter. So here we go. Martinez on at second with speed. Henry over at first. 2 away. Strike 1 to Simmons. She's got a flair for the dramatic couple of seasons ago. Crucial home runs in the Supers against Arkansas and in the regional against Washington. But behind 0-2. And a couple of walk-off home runs back at the 2018 World Fast Pitch Championships in the finals and the semifinals. We'll see what she does here. And just like that, Kennedy makes quick work of Simmons. Texas strands 2. We head to the 7th. Still tied at 3. Here's Jana Schrader. Strike 1.
And what a great game for a Saturday night in February. The best offenses in the country going up against one of the best pitchers. It's been a classic. A wild one early on, but a classic.
0-2 to Schrader. Missed all of last season with a torn ACL. Still working her way back this year. A couple of hits on the season. Check misses. Just 2 hits on the night so far for Stanford. 5 for Texas. Defense played a huge role early in this one. Will it again late here in Austin. Called strike 3.
Czech loves to own the inner half against these left-handed hitters. Lefty on lefty matchup, brings that backdoor curveball back over the plate to get the called strike, even a little bit up in the zone. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Czech. She's feeling it.
That's right. Kira Chan now up at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. The sophomore outfielder from San Diego. Said Stanford has been in so many tight ball games this year. They're outscoring their opponents by just 1 run per game. Chan takes one to left field. Henry is there.
Yeah, and the 12 games that they've played, 4 of them have been 1-run games. A lot of close games, several low-scoring games.
Over the last 4 innings now, Stanford has just 1 hit, a single. We go back up to the top of the order. Dangerous hitter, Taryn Kern. Don't let the batting average fool you. Set the Big Ten freshman record for home runs a year ago with Indiana when she hit 23.
I noticed against Czech too, she's not as on top of the plate, backed up even earlier in the count, knowing that Czech is wanting to get in on that inner half.
Fans on their feet here at McCombs Field. That one misses. Launched foul. Talked about Kern hitting 23 homers last year. That was just 3 shy of Stanford's total for the season. Over to second, past Washington. And a base knock for Taryn Kern here in the 7th.
Just under the glove. I think that this could easily go down as an error. It just goes right under her glove. It's a play that she expects herself to make. It's a play that she should make. It's going to go down as a hit, but I think she's thinking that's probably an error.
We wondered if defense would be the difference. Will it be? Here is River Mailer, who has reached on 2 errors. One in the first, later came around and scored. One in the 5th. Oh, and 2. Misses inside.
Crowd wanted it. It did look, that guy's face.
That says it all.
It did look a little bit off the plate inside to me, about a ball and a half. Tries to go right back to it. Maybe try to bring it a little bit more on the plate, but this guy just can't believe it.
Same result. 2 and 2. Hope to left field. Henry is there. And here we go. Bottom of the 7th on the way in Austin. Tied at 3. Top of the order due up for Texas.
A lot of looks in that inning, and if they come back to win this game, you have to love and look back at even the first inning and their at-bats off of her that helped them just have to wear her down as the game went on.
Dayton lays down the bunt, charging in is Barry. Dayton is safe, the throw gets away, and Bella Dayton slides into scoring position.
Love that Bella Dayton got the top of that pitch. It was more down the heart of the plate. Didn't have a lot of up movement to it. Perfect pitch to bunt. She lays it down at a place that it's going to be difficult for Stanford to throw her out. And because of that error, she's going to get to advance into scoring position. And now Texas will have a lot of chances to score her to try to win this game.
We talked about the offense coming in, the offense of Texas, the pitching of Stanford, but defense has potentially played the biggest role in tonight's contest. Mia Scott at the plate. Texas dugout alive. Scott walked in the first inning, singled in the 5th. The corners playing in for Stanford. And pops up the bunt. Kennedy holds on.
And I was going to say, bunt situation, but you have to be so careful. You know she's going to throw a rise ball. In that situation, it's going to be moving up. Your barrel gets the bottom half of the ball. It pops it up easily for a Stanford out.
Huge first out. Here comes Katie Stewart, the freshman who singled in the 5th inning. Jessica Allister talking with home plate umpire Matt Johnson. And it looks like we will have a change in left field for the Cardinal. And right. So coming in for Stanford, Danny Hayes. She takes over in left field, and Schrader moves to right. So obviously, Coach Allister sensing how big at this point every play is, every defender making moves in the outfield. Katie Stewart ready to go for Texas at the plate, with the speedy Bella Dayton representing the winning run at second. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Substitutions have been made official, and here we go.
Katie Stewart's at bats have gotten better off of Kennedy every time that she stepped up to the plate. Just a freshman, but a mature hitter, one who learns from her at bats. And
the biggest moment of the game. They are done with the review. And Dayton is out at second. What a challenge. Texas has gone from having a runner on its second with no outs here in the 7th to bases empty with 2 outs.
Somebody in the Stanford dugout is looking just for that, and
they deserve a raise.
They deserve
1-0 to Katie Stewart.
This game truly has had a little bit of everything, hasn't it?
Right from the start. That is unreal. And now Mike White speaking with Matt Johnson.
I think he's maybe asking about the count.
And the count should be 1-1. See Katie Stewart, at least she was off camera, signaling to the umpire the count is 1-1, correct? Making sure he confirmed that. Now 1-2. returned foul.
Yeah, and Texas has had quite a few base runners in this game, and Kennedy has pitched under duress a lot in this game, with the exception of the bottom of the second. That was a 3-up, 3-down inning, but a lot of runners in scoring position and a lot of traffic behind her.
Yeah, a stressful 7 innings of work by Kennedy. Although she doesn't show it. Action clock at 2.
Like Katie Stewart called a timeout. You are allowed 1 timeout, then the at-bat.
Here we go. Tense moments in Austin.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that being added to the review challenges is a game changer in our sport.
The fans
Really.
are more stressed than the players, by the way.
Yeah, but to be able to review a runner leaving early is
Oh my goodness.
potentially could turn our sport upside down, because
We just saw it.
yeah,
Absolutely. Game changer. Dayton was in scoring position with no outs. Instead, the inning comes to an end with strikeout number 9 on the night for Kennedy. Mailer, one of the fastest players on the team. Here's Kaylin Koch. Atwood keeps that one in front of her. Koch has walked and delivered a run-scoring double. Corners for Texas playing in. That one gets away from Atwood, and Mailer moves down to third.
it is to be able to advance that runner from second 60 feet without giving up an out is massive.
Koch sends one to left field. Did it get deep enough? Henry is there, makes the grab. Mailer tags, the throw home, and it's dropped. Stanford goes up by 1 here in the top of the 8th inning.
Hopefully River Mailer is okay after that slide, but this, Alex, is why you push the envelope when you have a runner at third base, even if it seemed like high risk of being out, because you have to make the throw, you have to make the catch, you have to make the tag, and River Mailer just goes in there so unorthodox, and her foot slid in right away the first time that she slid and got in there, but went back to tag the base anyway, and Grace Atwood can't hold on to that throw. That was a great throw by Caden Henry, the freshman. That throw was on the money, should have been an out, but couldn't make the tag.
Yeah, for a moment, Texas thought she missed home plate.
Yeah.
But she's in there, and Stanford now leads number 2 Texas 4-3 here in the 8th. Into foul territory. That one will drop off the bat of Ali Kaneshiro. What a change in momentum. Just seems like a few minutes ago, Texas was on the verge of winning, and a runner on second with no outs. Stanford coming right back and snatching that momentum. That whizzes past the head of Czech, and a base knock by Kaneshiro.
Exactly what you want to have, exactly what you want to do, and what you want to see if you're Coach Allister and the coaching staff for Stanford is that after you score that run, now you get another runner on base. Kaneshiro just throws her barrel at this pitch and shoots it right back up the middle of the field, and Czech can just dodge it. I mean, that ball was hit hard.
Freshman Ava Gall, and again, that one bobbling around in the dirt.
We'll see how she handles Gall here, but I'm sure that Coach White's keeping a close eye on her and thinking about a potential pitching change soon.
Swing and a miss.
Just based simply off of the command piece, right? With how she's missing pitches in the dirt, and then having to come more on the plate. Like that pitch that Kaneshiro hit was right over the heart of the plate. See if she can rebound, though. At any point, she can.
Now 1-2 from Czech. Ball stays alive. Stanford still getting doubled up in the hits department. The Longhorns out hitting the Cardinals 6-3, but regardless, Stanford has the lead yet again. Kaneshiro over at first. All behind 1-2. She did single off Czech in the 6th. Now forces the count to go 2-2.
You know, with how big this field plays, too, if you're able to find a gap here, you always have the potential to score a runner from first base, because 220 to center, 212 in the gaps, and ball has a tendency to rattle around and cause extra bases.
There's a base knock for goal. Stanford with 2 on, and only 1 out here in the top of the 8th.
Coach Allister talked about how her team just stays in the fight, and Ava Gall stayed in that at bat. She stayed in the fight against Czech, fouled off some pitches, worked the count, got a curveball that she had swung and missed twice at in that at bat, and came away with the hit. I mean, she can just move that rise ball all around the zone, as well as have a changeup to go along with it.
It's a big moment here, because remember, Texas will also start their half of the inning with a runner on second and Reese Atwood coming up. So Stanford trying to give themselves another insurance run or two with 2 on, 1 away for Emily Jones.
Yeah, 1 run in ITB always kind of seems like the status quo. If you can score 2, you're feeling really good. If you don't score any, you're not feeling good at all.
Kavan struck out 9 in 4 innings against this Stanford team in Clearwater. Strike 1. Jones, the sophomore, 0 for 3 tonight. Kaneshiro at second, Gall on at first. One and 2. Atwood, Mitchell, and Martinez will be due up in the bottom half of the 8th. Jones takes one to left field. Henry is there for the second out. Looks like we will have a pinch hitter coming up for Jade Berry. It will be the Texas native, Allie Clements, the junior from Klein, Texas. Had a 2-run double earlier today in the matchup against Colorado State. On the year, she's 4 for 8 as a pinch hitter.
Interesting to take Berry out when last time these two teams played, Berry homered against Caban.
See if it pays off.
Texas won that game 9-2. And that home run was the only runs that Stanford scored in that game.
Barry had gone 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout. Getting some new softballs here in the 8th inning. About 2 hours and 40 minutes after we started this thing. Kavon ready to go. And is now ahead 0-2 against Clemens. Ball 1.
Seems like a long time ago that we saw Kavon pitch today with the length of this game, and she got the start earlier.
Threw 47 pitches in that one. Her biggest pitch of the night right now. The freshman is ready to go. Clemens stays alive.
Yeah, you see how upright that Clemens stands and the box in her stance. She seems to handle the up pitch well. Possibly a matchup reason for why Coach Allister wanted to bring her in is how she handles the rise ball, knowing that she'd see a lot from Kavon. It all changes, though, if Kavon can find a different way to get her out with either her curveball or her changeup on the outer half. Like that.
Clemens reaches for it, keeps it going. Kavon, the freshman, 26 strikeouts on the year compared to just 4 walks. Trying to keep it a 1-run game.
Great at bat by Clemens off the bench. Seeing a little bit of everything from Kavon and making her throw some pitches with runner at second base, game on the line, 1-run game. A lot of pressure on Kavon, but feeling it even more with the at-bat that Clemens is putting together.
Pitch number 8 of the at-bat on the way. Over to short. Martinez on to second. And here we go. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Consecutive games. Here she is leading off the bottom of the 8th inning. Texas down 1. The freshman Katie Stewart begins the inning at second.
Yeah, see if they end up maybe pitching around her. That pitch was out of the zone. She helped out Kennedy, was more aggressive, but potentially could be saying first base is open. Maybe we pitch around her. Not intentionally where the catcher is standing up and putting her on, but work around her. Cannot give her anything too good. Couple of great pitches, and if she's going to help you out with swinging at a rise ball like that and fouling it back and you get ahead 0-2, now why get her out?
Kennedy with 9 strikeouts. Now entering her 8th inning of work. There's number 10. Her biggest of the night.
This changeup, the way that she keeps her arm motion and her arm speed up and the rest of the motion of her entire body and just pops it out of her hand is such a good pitch. Went right at her, rise, and then changeup for the strikeout, out number 1 of this inning.
Jolie Mitchell up, the transfer from Notre Dame. And she swings and misses.
It's so important, even with the game on the line, for Texas to not chase. They really haven't done that all that much in this game against Kennedy. They've had a lot of discipline against her.
Mitchell was an all-ACC first-teamer a year ago with the Fighting Irish, hitting .383. Ended last year on a 35-game on-base streak. And works the count in her favor.
When you think about, Alex, how difficult it is to strike out good hitters the fourth time that they see you. Seeing almost everything that you have. They know your speed. They know your off speed.
The count goes 2-2. Kennedy has struck out the last two Texas batters she has faced.
Thought that one was coming back up here to us.
Mitchell just gets a piece of it. Kennedy up to 122 pitches on the night. Got her!
We call it selling the changeup. In her motion from beginning to end, it looks like a rise ball, and then she just pulls the string. That pitch, nasty. Gets her way out in front.
Stanford is 1 out away from handing Texas their first loss of the season. We will have a pinch runner take over for Mike White's squad. At second, in place of Stuart, Adea Wallace, freshman out of Plano, Texas. Nyjah Kennedy has now struck out 3 in a row, 11 Ks on the night.
Again, that is the 4th time through the order, and she still struck out 3 in a row.
At her best when it matters most. For Texas, it'll be up to Vivi Martinez, the sophomore, to keep the Longhorns alive. 0 for 2, and was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. Wallace at second.
Good swing by Martinez, and remember, lefties seem to see the ball better off of Kennedy.
Kennedy is dealing in this inning. Lifts one to short. Mailer is there, and Stanford has taken down number 2 Texas.
That is a big deal.